Hello Pisces, and welcome to this reading. I'm so excited that you are here. So this reading is being recorded on January the 8th, 2022, but it is a timeless reading. So trust that when you find it, you were meant to find it, all right? It is a general reading, so keep that in mind. Not everything is going to fit, so take what fits, leave the rest. Let's get into this. I have already pre-shuffled and meditated on these cards. We are going to do a couple more shuffles here. What we're looking at today is we're going to look at the energy of the recent past, your current energy, and the near future energy. And within each of those energies, we're going to be looking at the challenging energy at the time, your emotional energy, your physical energy, and then the energy of the blessing that was surrounding you. Whether or not you could see that blessing, that's a totally different story, but just what that energy was and what the blessing was. All right, so this is for Pisces. Sun, Moon, Rising, cross watchers, welcome. If you are cross-watching or for any, keep in mind that energies can be interchangeables, right? So if there's an energy that maybe you're feeling fits more to, you know, another person or party in your situation, keep that in mind too. All right, Spirit, this is for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising. May you deliver the highest message of healing and love to Pisces. Okay, so in the challenging energy, wow, we had the Tower, emotional, we have the Empress, we have the Five of Air in the physical, and we have the Hierophant in the blessing. In energy, we have Page of Air as a challenge. We have Five of Cups, wow, Pisces. It's the emotional energy. We have the Four of Air in the physical. We have the Strength in the blessing here. We have the Queen of Air here as the challenging energy for the near future. We have the Eight of Air in the emotional. Messenger of Fire in the physical. And the blessing is the Eight of Fire. The overall energy for this reading. King of Cups, Pisces. Actually, look at that. It's the King of Cups and then the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Water, King of Water and Queen of Water right behind each other. You know, I do feel, wow, I do feel that, you know, this is your divine masculine energy, Pisces, okay? This is a very masculine energy of self. And we must keep in mind that we are both masculine and feminine energies, right? Like that is, as a soul being, that's who we are. All right, so this overall energy to me, especially when it's discussing this King of Cups, I feel like this is the energy of where you're really truly stepping into truth of self, right? And truth of understanding. Pisces, I don't have to tell you, you know, how in depth you can be with that of your emotions, right? And the energy, I really am feeling, or not even feeling, I'm hearing the word empathy. Okay, and this energy, this overall energy, I think is King of Empathy for some reason is what I'm hearing in my head. So we are going to clarify these. Maybe we'll clarify as we go. Let's clarify this King of Cups as the overall energy, Spirit. King of Cups is the overall energy. Thank you. We have the Fool, the Tower again. Okay, and the Son of Cups. Something's changing, especially because in the recent past energy, that challenging energy was the Tower, but something is changing for you here, Pisces, and you're really being asked to embrace, especially with this energy of the Fool coming out here before this Tower. It's as though you know, the Tower is like the old structures that are needing to come down, and whether that's certain things within your life or, you know, I mean, you're going to know, but there's this call here to step into self. And to step into this kind of enlightened version of self. The Fool is about going forward and having the faith to take the steps needed. Having the forward to take the leap of faith, right? And here it's like, are you prepared to take the leap of faith even though you know something must come down? And the Son of Cups coming behind this, it's like there is opportunities. It's almost as though you can see that there's opportunities, some sort of blessing, some sort of emotional fulfillment, some sort of emotional opportunity coming forward. Maybe it is a relationship or you know, or something along those lines, but I do see it being something that you are willing to take the leap of faith for. Okay, you're willing to acknowledge that something needs to come down so that you are able to open yourself up to this new opportunity. Okay. Why is this Tower a challenge in the recent past? We had the Star, the Ten of Cups, the Magician, and the Knight of Swords to clarify this Tower in the recent past, which is interesting because the Star is about, like, you know, dreams and wishes and blessings coming true. The Ten of Cups right after it, you know, there's that ultimate happiness and that, you know, emotional fulfillment for those and for you and those around you. And then the Magician and the Son of Swords. It's almost like that Tower needed to happen, and though it was challenging, and maybe the Tower was, maybe the blessing was the Tower happening, right? And it was hard for you to understand that whatever you were holding on to, whatever that structure was of the past, you needed to release that. And maybe the challenge in that was, you know, acknowledging that you had to release your control from it. You know, you've been manifesting and co-creating and wanting to build this happiness and this emotional abundance and this joy and whatever the case may be around you. Okay, yes, there's no doubt of that, but there was some sort of structure here that needed to come down, and I do feel that Spirit was very much guiding you forward on that. I feel like that's why this Son of Swords was here, you know, because the Magician is all about you manifesting and stepping into your own powers and acknowledging that what you have within inside of you is more than enough to build the life that you dream of. Right? And not just the life that you are like, okay, well, I'll, you know, settle for this. This looks pretty good for me. But no, this is the life that you actually like dream to have, right? And seeing the Tower needed to happen here, as much as it may have been a challenge, that the Tower was the Tower was as much of a blessing as this Hierophant energy over here. Because whatever came down ultimately aligned you to I think probably your own individual power. And I think just to the movement, I think that Tower is what kind of opened and aligned you to the movement that needed to happen within this situation. Now, why is this Empress? Why was this an Empress? The emotional energy here. Six of Swords, the Father of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles. So the Empress is that energy of manifestation, co-creating, going forward, right? This is the energy of where, you know, you're connecting here to your intuition, to your divine feminine energy. You understand that, you know, through your inner guidance and through that faith of Spirit, you can ultimately co-create and manifest what it is that you want to see in your life. It's also the energy of the nurturer. Right? And I feel that that's probably a very important part here too, because we have the Son of Cups, and the Son of Cups to me is that energy of healing, reflection, acknowledging what you have all been through, but like looking at it not necessarily from a negative side of view, but like looking at it like from a more nostalgic kind of positive view, right? Like, okay, yes, those were things that, you know, we went through, but like imagine yourself kind of like, imagine you as this ultimate loving, mothering kind of being sitting with your younger self. Okay, maybe it's an inner child or whatever the case might be, and saying, yes, okay, you've done all of these things and you've been through all this, but spinning the positive tail on it, you know, showing the light within it. Okay, and I see that that's what really happened here. We have the Father of Pentacles here that came out as well, because this healing and this reflection that needed to happen. I mean, this Father of Pentacles is one about aligning yourself to the direction in which you are going to find your abundance and your fulfillment. Okay, the Father of Pentacles is in an upright energy, is one that is taking steps, taking action, making tangible change within life to align him to exactly where he sees his fulfillment and his, you know, ultimate potential and all of those wonderful things. Okay, the King of Pentacles isn't about to mess around. He knows his worth. Okay, he does. He is somebody who very much knows his worth. See, and that's the ultimate healing here. And I feel within this Empress energy and the Five of Pentacles after that, because I feel like you've been through, Pisces, you've seen the shit stick. Okay, you've been on the outside of it. You know, you've seen the heartache, you've seen the loneliness, you know, you've done the heartbreak, you've done the energy of feeling, you know, left out or whatever the cases may be, right? I understand that you know that. And I think that's why this Empress in this emotional energy was so much about healing and aligning yourself. And not only just healing, but then aligning yourself to, aligning yourself to the fulfillment, aligning yourself to, I'm hearing tangible change. They align themselves to tangible change. They listen to their intuition and they align themselves to tangible change. In the physical, we have the Five of Air, which is kind of interesting, that emotionally you were, you know, doing this healing and this reflection. And in the physical, I see that there could have been some tension. And whether that was around communication issues or whatever the case may be, I do see that there was some tension going on here. And the Five of Air can oftentimes be tense communication. Okay, and maybe that's between you and other people, but also maybe it's between what other people have said to you, whether now or in the past or whatever the case may be, but then you took what they said as God's gospel solid truth, and maybe that wasn't how that should have been. You know, sometimes I think that we take the harsh, tense, toxic bullshit from what other people are saying to us, and then we hold that as God's gospel, right? And that can very much be the energy of this Five of Air, is where you know, as much as it is talking about, you know, tense communications between other people, where's the tense communication between yourself? And for some reason, that's always such a heavy energy for me whenever I think of the Five of Swords. It's like, where are you feeding yourself the lies, right? It's one thing for other people to say bullshit and talk nonsense, but where are you taking their bullshit and their nonsense and wearing that as your cross to bear? You know, because we have to understand that people can talk bullshit and say mean things all day long, but that doesn't mean, like, words hurt, absolutely. But are you going to allow them to be daggers? Are there daggers that you're going to be like, well, just stab them right into me, I'm just going to hold them in there? No, because if you wear the shield of truth and you know, and divine love, it's very hard for those daggers to, okay, let's see, let's clarify though. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Eight of Pentacles, the Nine of Swords. More. And the Emperor. Yeah, you had to get real with yourself. Absolutely. Just like we were talking about, you had to get real with yourself. And see, this Eight of Pentacles is about the work that you were putting in. You know, and the Nine of Swords, look, here's all that garbage that you're carrying, right? Here's all those swords and all that nasty shit that people have told you. And now within inside of your soul, this is what you're carrying, right? And you can see all those swords in there. Right? That's all the harsh daggers that people have been saying. And see this Eight of Pentacles, this is the work that you were putting in. Physically, I feel like you knew that had to change. Okay? Pisces, I feel like you knew that you had to get control over how you were allowing that to dictate in your life. Okay? How you were allowing other people's bullshit, or even just the tension of the world around you, how you were allowing that to disrupt your peace. Because the Eight of Pentacles is about being committed to the work that needed to be done. And see, the Emperor comes out after both of these, because the Emperor is about standing in your power, standing in your truth, standing in your alignment, standing for what you are. And I see that that's where you've been putting the work. Okay. Yes. Okay. This Five of Swords was definitely, you know, there was some tense energy happening, but I do see that through this lesson, you were learning and building and standing for self. I see that you were acknowledging and being accountable for this kind of Nine of Swords energy, right? But that you understood, or that you are in the process of understanding, that standing within your own, you are the one here that gets to dictate what swords you carry forward. Okay? And we have to be really real with ourselves too, right? Like, are we just going to carry swords forward because we're like, well, we just feel like we need to, it's just better if we just hate on ourselves. Like, if that's the way you're going about it, then you need to do some self-checking, because that is a really silly way to go about it. Okay? We've all done things in our lives that, you know, that hurt and need to be grown from, and you know, we've all made mistakes. But if you refuse to actually step out of the energy of the mistake, or step out of the mentality that you are only ever going to be this mistake, then you're holding yourself hostage. All right, and that's where we need to start. How is this Hierophant energy? Did you see that? Oh my gosh, probably not, but I just threw like cards everywhere. Okay. This Hierophant energy here, how is it the blessing? Well, we had the Eight of Cups, the Hermit, the Devil, the Eight of Wands in reverse. And then I put some back because that was a lot. The Hierophant is about connecting here to, I mean, it's about, to me, I feel like it's like coming to the truth with the structures and understanding that you have to rebuild. Like, there has to be this, restructuring of how you've gone about things, because the Hierophant is about having a baseline, okay? And a baseline to how you're connecting to the divine, whatever the case may be, whatever that is to you, okay? The higher, okay? We all have to have, if you're watching tarot readings, like, chances are, like, you acknowledge that there has to be a higher being, okay? something higher than yourself. And this is what this connection is talking about. Here is that connection. It is that truth. It is that higher connection. We have the Eight of Cups, the Hermit, the Devil, and then the Eight of Wands in reverse. And the Eight of Cups is about letting go, right? And you can see all these broken cups are all shattered down here. And this is emotions that, and baggage and emotional burdens that you have just been carrying around. Right? And that's just sharp. Like that can't go forward with you, Pisces. It can't. Right? These emotions, they just keep hurting. Right? Can you imagine trying to carry all of these cups in a backpack? Like something's going to stab you. Okay, this is about leaving those broken burdens there, just right where they are. Okay, leave them there, continue on, and finding the light within inside of self. Because look at here, here's that devil energy. You know, and the devil is about structures. Okay, the devil is about those structures that you are stuck to. And I love in this depiction how this little goat's feet are on fire, because oftentimes I think we get stuck to those structures and we're so goddamn stubborn just to leave them behind. Because we're like, well, what are we if we're not that? Right? And here, this is finding the light within inside of self. Okay, this is about this Hermit energy. I mean, you know, do the self-reflection. Allow yourself the time and the space just to sit with spirit. To allow yourself to get rid of all of the emotional baggage and the emotional burden and find the healing within inside of self. Who do you look like after the healing? Once you remove those baggages and that Eight of Cups, you know, you can no longer claim that as your identity. So who are you after that? What do you look like as a healed person? And sometimes I think that, you know, this is the restructuring that needs to happen. You need to release yourself from the toxic, you know, from the toxic structures that you're holding on to. And certainly, you know, the devil energy can be talking about substance abuse. It can certainly be talking about toxic relationships. It can be, you know, any sort of thing that you are using kind of emotionally, physically as a crutch, right? Something to shield you from actually stepping into your full potential, into your full power. Because that takes a lot of accountability. You know, we have the Eight of Wands here in reverse as well. And that Eight of Wands to me is just kind of like that energy. Like to me, I can kind of feel where it's, especially where it's clarifying this Hierophant. It's almost like there was no change within these structures. And that's how this blessing kind of came to be, was because as you aligned yourself to the higher and aligned yourself to this Hierophant energy, you were able to release yourself from the burdens that you were really holding yourself a part of in the past. I see that there was change that you weren't stepping into, and I think that was the blessing. Once you really acknowledged the burdens, the emotional burdens you were putting down, and the light in which you look like after that, I think that's what really sparks this change going forward. Now, in the current energy, we had the Page of Air here as the challenge. You know, and this is about going forward and learning new things. And interesting enough, but the pages are oftentimes discussing that energy of going into it with that kind of childlike enthusiasm, right? And as a child, you can't go into things like a child goes into experiences completely open to those experiences. You know, there's nothing in their past to hinder them or to make them second guess or to negatively dictate the experience they're about to have because they don't know. And I see that being a challenge for you. The Page of Air is about learning new things, okay? Embracing new ideas, right? And I can see that being a challenge for you because you have a past. Right? At this stage of the game, you have a past. There's things that have hurt you in the past, right? Yeah, look at that. Daughter of Swords and Ace of Air in reverse with the Three of Pentacles. Yep. There's that Page of Air in reverse with the Ace of Wands. You know, and I can understand that this Page of Air, this new opportunity, this new beginning, it's a challenge because in the past it hasn't worked out. Right? In the past, maybe there was ideas and opportunities floating before you, and for whatever reason, they didn't come to fruition the way that you were hoping that they would. You see, and I see that you're ready to build, you know, this Three of Pentacles energy to me is very much that of building foundations, something that you're ready to build on. And I think you have to still stay open, even though, you know, And that's obviously why it's a challenge, because there's been experiences in the past where you've been open and excited for new opportunities to come through, and they didn't necessarily work the way that you thought they were going to, but they still worked. That's a part of it, right? Like, they still laid pieces to the foundation that you're still currently building. And as much as you've gone through things in the past, this is about continuing to remain open, continuing to remain enthusiastic about what is to come before you. Okay, why is this Five of Cups in the emotional? Clarify the Five of Cups in the current emotional. We have the Queen of Wands and the Justice with the Nine of Cups. Yep. You know, because here emotionally, I do still feel like there's healing and sadness that needs to happen. You know, okay, I get it. Emotionally, you have burdens. We all do, right? And I'm not shortcutting yours or shortchanging yours by any means. Emotionally, we can go through some awful freaking things in life. Absolutely. And see, and this is where it's not necessarily that you're, it's not that you're forgetting what you've been through. It's that you're liberating yourself what you've been through what you've been through. You know, we have the Queen of Wands with the Justice and the Nine of Cups. You know, and this Queen of Wands is about embracing your true, again, divine self. Okay, the fire, the passion, the light that is within inside you. Okay, this Queen of Wands, I mean, she's very protective, absolutely, but protective of her light, protective of who she is, right? And that doesn't mean that she's going to guard off and close off anybody around her, but she knows her worth. She knows what she stands for. She knows her light. Right? We have the Justice after this, and Justice is about the scales balancing for sure, but it's about liberating self. You know, and I feel that that is emotionally what's happening here. Yes, okay, that there has been heartache, and yes, okay, you have gone through challenges, but you are stepping into your authenticity. And as you step into your authenticity, you liberate self from those emotional pains and the emotional burdens of the past, and you allow yourself to embrace the Nine of Cups energy, because this is about self-fulfillment, right? And we have to fill our own freaking cups first, guys. That's not a selfish energy. If you are unable to fill your own cups, you are going to be a codependent individual, because you are going to need somebody to fill your cups. And that is a hard truth to hear, but accountability goes a long fucking way. Okay? Especially in healing. Especially when we are emotionally acknowledging that we have to heal through things, because there's a huge accountability piece that comes with this. Because we have to be ready to liberate ourselves from the daily pain. It's not that we don't acknowledge that those things hurt, okay? It's not that we overlook them, okay? But we acknowledge that we can continue to find healing through the hurt. That hurt doesn't have to define our entire future. Okay, we have the power to liberate self and continue to find happiness and fulfillment within inside of self. It doesn't mean that those things and those cups that got spilled, that we're just going to forget about them and that's just going to be that. No, that's not necessarily the case either. Okay, you can take that past hurt and you can take those, you know, and acknowledge it for what it is and put it in a safe place, right? These are the hurts and these are the pains that I have. They are what they are. They're not going to dictate my life further, but I am going to acknowledge that these are parts of my life that did hurt. Blessings and happiness still came after that, but only after I chose to liberate myself from the burdens of that sadness. Okay? Four of Air in the physical. Yeah, look at that. Five of Cups, the World. Holy smokes. And the Seven of Cups. Yep, look at that. There's that sadness ending, because that's what this Four of Air is about. You know, the Four of Air is about the reflection, and that's happening within the physical around you right now. I get it. Maybe you are taking the time out, Pisces, to just step back away from people and do the self-reflection, do the healing that needs to happen. Because look at that. Five of Cups in the World. Okay? That Five of Cups, again, that emotional energy. Interesting enough how that comes out, right? You are healing from this. Those cycles they're coming to an end because you are doing the work and the reflection that needs to happen, especially with the Seven of Cups, okay? There's so many opportunities before you, and not all of those cups before you are going to be cups that are going to serve you. But when you can do the healing, you can align yourselves to opportunities and cups that are going to fulfill you going forward, okay? Wow, that World is such a beautiful ending, because it's about the cycles and the completion and the acknowledgement that you have, the accountability for that cycle that you have ending. right? Because in order for cycles to end, we have to be accountable that that cycle has come to an end. A cycle just doesn't end and us be like, well, I don't know, maybe it hasn't ended. It doesn't end until we are accountable that it is ended, that the healing is done, that we've done the growth and we've done the work and we've put in the effort to get us to the place of new beginnings, right? Because when a cycle ends within that world energy, a new one begins. Okay, let's see why this strength is a blessing in the current energy. And I can understand why this strength is a blessing in the current energy because, yeah, it's about self-fulfillment. Look at that. Here you are, my love. Here you are. We have the Nine of Pentacles. We have the Moon. There's your card. And the Eight of Swords. You're removing yourself from this victim mentality, Pisces, okay? This strength is a blessing because, and I love, here we keep talking about accountability, and that's what I always find the Nine of Pentacles energy to be, because it's about being content and fulfilled within your own space, within your own garden, within your own energy that you create around you. Okay, that includes the people and the things and the spaces that you surround yourself with. Okay, that's how we produce healthy, positive, fulfilling energy around us. We make sure that what is around us supports that. If it doesn't support that, then we remove ourselves from that. And there's an accountability piece to that again. Okay, we have the Moon after that. And here, this is about being accountable for self, my love. And that Eight of Swords, that is about removing yourself from the victim mentality. And that is why this strength is such a blessing, because in order to remove yourself from the cage, you have to see how you have been the one caging yourself in. Okay? And certainly that can be because you allow other people who are not good for you in your space. But who does that come back down to again? You. Because you have to be strong enough and brave enough to remove those people from your space. Those things, right? I love it. I love it. Sorry. This was the Eight of Swords. This was the Eight of Swords that I was discussing. Sorry. Okay. You are not your wound, Pisces. Okay? You have been wounded, but you are not your wound. And I feel that you are greatly coming into the power and the strength that you have within inside of self. I do. This Queen of Air as a challenge in your near future. Why is this Queen of Air a challenge for Pisces in the near future? Ace of Cups, Daughter of Cups, and the Death. Yep. So the Queen of Air here is clarity. Okay. And the Queen of Air, now in a distorted energy, the Queen of Air can sometimes be an Ice Queen. Okay, and that's one thing that we have to acknowledge through healing. We are not healed. Okay, it's one thing to be like, okay, well, these are the emotions and the things that I went through and blah, 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 and now I'm just going to be an Ice Queen. That's not healing. Okay? That's putting up barriers and walls and protection. That is not healing. Okay? Now, this Queen of Cups was clarified by the Ace of Cups and the Daughter of Cups, because I do feel like some sort of emotional fulfillment is coming in. Could be new love. Okay, and again, that doesn't have to be romantic. It can be friendships, it can be relationships that surround you, right? When you've been stung by family or friends or whatever the case may be, it is hard to connect yourself or allow yourself to be open to incoming emotional energies. Okay, and I can see that as being a challenge, because the Ice Queen can sometimes be exactly that, an Ice Queen. She can sometimes be very rigid and not very welcoming. Okay, and there's opportunities and love and emotional abundance coming in here, but there's the need here to do the rebuild. Okay, the Death card. You got to let go of the old to go into the new. Okay, and that Queen of Air, especially in an upright energy, she's very thoughtful. Okay, she's very thoughtful. She can see beyond what is right in front of her face. She's a very knowledgeable, wise kind of energy. And sometimes that wisdom, once you know, you know. And sometimes that's a challenge. Right? Because once you know that you have to do the healing and what needs to shed in order for you to actually step into your next, that can be a very terrifying kind of place. And very much this Ace of Cups, this is a blessing. Aces are blessings from Spirit. Absolutely. And the Ace of Cups is an emotional blessing that's coming from Spirit. But blessings are only yours if you make them yours, if you accept them. Right? We are offered blessings numerous times throughout our days. And many times we don't accept the blessing. We're like, no, that can't be for me. Or no, that can't be a blessing, right? And if you don't choose to actually accept the blessing, well, it won't be yours. And in order for you to actually choose to accept the blessing here, Pisces, I do see that change has to happen within inside of you, because the way that you've been going, you cannot accept blessings of new emotional fulfillment because you're holding on to emotional baggage of the past, right? You got to be clear and real with yourself on this. And the Queen of Air, she's very real with self. Okay, sometimes she can be, again, in a distorted energy, she can be too real with self and too harsh with self, but she is very real with self. Okay, she's not about to fool herself here. She will speak the truth. Okay, Eight of Swords. Why is this Eight of Swords in the emotional? Yeah, because you got to release yourself here, right? We've got the Judgment, the Ten of Wands. Wow, Judgment, Ten of Wands, Two of Swords, Five of Wands, Ten of Pentacles. I was only going to take 3, but 2 slid in there. I didn't even notice. Here's that energy. Look at that. That's the same one as this. Okay, and in this depiction of the Good Tarot, I love it because she's releasing herself from all of those things of the past. Okay, and that's what's happening here emotionally, especially when we have the Judgment and the Ten of Wands. Okay, Ten of Wands, Judgment is about healing. Okay, that's peace. Okay, this is grace and goodness coming into your life because you release yourself from the burdens that you have been carrying. Okay, here's this stalemate energy, and you've been stuck within this stalemate energy, unable to go forward. And you know, the Five of Wands, it's here as well, because the Five of Wands is about the growth and the change that you have to do. Okay, it's not an easy growth and change. Like the Five of Wands is very uncomfortable because growth is uncomfortable. Right? We know that. Growth is uncomfortable. That kind of movement and that kind of change, Pisces, holy shit, that's hard to do. Especially to find the happiness and the, you know, and the joy. The Ten of Pentacles, yep. That's fulfillment. That's all the abundance and all the good things that you want to see happen in your life. It can be family. It can be, you know, that kind of relationship. It can be, you know, financial abundance. But in order for you to have that, there is this leveling up that has to happen. You've got to remove yourself from this idea of being the victim of bad circumstances and a hard life. It's maybe, you know, you could be all those things, but they cannot define you going forward. That's where you're releasing yourself. That's that stalemate, because you've been stuck thinking, okay, well, that's all that this is. That's all that my life consists of. Emotional baggage and heartache, hard times. Okay, so whatever the case may be there, those are burdens that you have to release. And then you have to do the work. You have to do that uncomfortable growth, because that happiness is there for you, but only when you're prepared to work past the burdens. Only when you're prepared to stare the growth that needs to happen in your face and release yourself from that. Why is the Messenger of Fire here? Okay, way too many. We have the Daughter of Pentacles, the Sun, and the Two of Wands. Yep. Look at that, this Messenger of Fire, Knight of Wands in your physical, because you're stepping into your light, okay? You are embracing, Pisces, you are embracing your authenticity on such a high vibration, and I am so proud of you for doing that, and I am so excited to see and hear the changes that are before you, okay? Here's that Daughter of Pentacles, that Page of Pentacles, and again, it's going in it with enthusiasm, okay? The childlike wonder, not carrying the burdens of the past with you, because you're going into this happiness to experience something new with a change of direction, right? You're not going in it at the same way you have gone before. Okay, there is a massive change here. You are choosing the change. You are aligning yourself to the change. Your authenticity as you step into that aligns you to this change, to this happiness, to this future, right? And then we have the Eight of Fire here as the blessing, and that's change. That's the universe putting change into action, okay? It can certainly be communication. For some of you, you may be receiving some sort of message or some sort of communication, maybe from some sort of romantic partner. Look at that. We have the Three of Cups, we have the Six of Swords, and the Ten of Swords. Wow, holy smokes. This is about just cutting the shit from the past. The change comes, the blessing comes here. There's new opportunity. Okay, there is new connection. And this, again, doesn't need to be romantic. It certainly can be. But we're talking about soul connections here. Okay, soul connections. And those are changing. Those are blessings that are happening. The transformation stage here and the Ten of Swords. Because you are going through this transformation, Pisces. You stared at the beast and you killed it. Okay, you looked at all of these things that you continued to carry forward with you, and you've done that. You're doing the healing. You're putting in the steps for that healing. releasing yourself from the daggers and the burdens and the heartache and all of that bullshit that you have carried up until this point. Okay, you've taken the leap of faith to step into this new opportunity. And because you have taken that leap of faith to step into the opportunity, the universe supports that kind of growth. The universe supports that kind of change. Okay? So to finish this reading off, Pisces, I'm going to pull an oracle message. This is from the Spirit Animal Oracle, which is by Colette Baron-Reid. I love these. And I'm going to read the message for you, right from the book. So this is a message of encouragement for Pisces going forward. Message of encouragement for Pisces going forward. What message of encouragement do you have for Pisces? Thank you. The Scarab Beetle. Magic works through you. Number 52, which is interesting because that breaks down into 7. And 7 is about change. 7 is about doing the work. In ancient Egypt, the scarab beetle was revered for the magic, for the creative magic. The scarab beetle spirit reminds us that we can bring forth something extraordinarily, seemingly out of thin air. Whenever you let your creativity flow through you, the scarab beetle spirit reminds you that spirit has given you the gift of infinite potential. You have an ally as you fashion something new or repurpose the old. For spirit co-creates with you, channeling energy through you so that you feel replenished, vitalized as you make magic with what is at hand. Now is a time for great optimism. You can accomplish anything you desire. Your creative endeavors will come to fruition. Miracles, opportunities, abundance, and love will appear seemingly out of nowhere as you allow spirit to work through you and magically manifest what you need. All right, well, that is it for today, Pisces. Thank you so much for joining me. Until next time, take great care of your soul. Bye now.